Welcome to our live today. My name is Zubida Taj, and I'm the Education USA advisor in Algeria. And our job is to get you to go study in the US and answer all of your questions about how to study in the US and how to get opportunities of education, of higher education in the US. Today, we have a very interesting opportunity that might be of interest to a lot of you, the possibility of studying in a university all online and tuition free. And we have today with us Isabel, who is a student at the University of the People, and who will talk about her experience and just will let you know everything about the university. Please leave your comments in the questions below and your questions to Isabel in the comments below. Thank you. Hi, Isabel.
Hi. Well, thank you for the invitation, and hello everyone that's joining us. Well, I'm an English teacher and I collaborate a little bit with Education USA, but today I'm actually joining you more as a student. I've had some people ask me about University of People, and I really wanted to open it up so that a lot of people could find out about this interesting and I think it's a valuable opportunity as well. So I'll talk a little bit about studying in the US in general, maybe some benefits about studying in the United States, but then I'm going to focus on specifically University of the People, which is a bit different, and I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about it. And we'll have time for questions and answers at the end. So as Subida said, please leave your questions there in the comments. So I have studied all the time in the United States. I have an associate's degree from Miami-Dade College. I have a bachelor's degree in international affairs from Florida State University. And I have a master's degree in education from Framingham State University, all state colleges, public universities in the United States. And now I'm doing a second bachelor's degree in public health. So for me, the University of the People opened up this opportunity to study something that I always wanted to study, but I didn't want to go back to school like full time because I'm an English teacher and it's my passion, but I have also always been really interested in public health. So it's something that I wanted to be able to link in the future with education. And something that I always like to share is that I think that studying in a U.S. university changed my life in the sense that I got a lot of opportunities that I think I wouldn't have had otherwise. I studied abroad in France. I taught English in Rwanda for 2 summers, and I studied Swahili at the University of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania for 1 year. So I think that's pretty unique. Actually, I was in a very small program. I think we were like 5 people in the program. Very few people in the world and from the United States study abroad in Tanzania. And I think it was really a transformative experience for me. And something else that I always like to mention is that studying at a U.S. university, you really have a lot of opportunity to do many things versus perhaps studying in other universities in other countries. Sometimes we don't have when we study in other countries, even though the quality of education can also be excellent, sometimes we don't have this opportunity to do many things at the same time, or at least that has been my experience. Because of the US university system, it really allows for a lot of flexibility that you can work, you can study, and you can volunteer. Of course, there are certain careers that are very difficult and more rigorous, but in general, I think that the US system is made for this, for you to do many things. So I volunteered and I worked the entire 4 years that I studied. So in my humble opinion, why do I think that it's beneficial to study in the United States? It's not only about the quality of the education. Yes, of course, there is high quality education, but I believe there is high quality education in many countries. But it really is a special experience studying at a U.S. university. You have access to clubs, so you have any interests that you have, like robotics, I don't know. We have a lot of student associations, like religious associations and organizations, depending on what country you're from, language groups, etc., etc. Even if you want to create your own club, you can create your own club. Volunteer experiences in my university, it was very easy to volunteer. They had weekly volunteer opportunities that were always there, and students could sign up every week, and we had free transportation to the volunteer sites. Sometimes we would even travel, I think, 2 hours to teach immigrants English. And then return the same day. So it really, there really are a lot of opportunities that I think because of the resources that they have. Oh, and I have a little typo there. Opportunities to choose between more practical or theoretical fields of study. So I like this. You can look at the program and you can decide, you know, I'm not really a theoretical person. I prefer to learn hands-on, to put it into practice, to do internships. Oh, I really like research. I want to do something more theoretical. And I think the United States allows you to choose versus some countries that are a bit more rigid in this sense. There's lots of support. So you can get a lot of help, right? You don't necessarily feel alone. There's mental health support. There's a lot of activities on campus, free and fun activities on campus. Most universities have gyms, some have movie theaters, bowling alleys. I mean, anything that you can imagine. And there's also a lot of support for students with disabilities. Not only disabilities, learning difficulties, like for example, if you're someone that needs extra time to take a test, you can speak with your university and they can give you this kind of support. And I think this is a bit unique for the United States. For example, I was a note taker for a student with physical disabilities. So since she was unable to take notes, I would go with her to class and help her with that. And the other one that I think is very important is being exposed to cultures from all over the world. It really is. Like, you can go to a university where they have 60, 70, 120 nationalities. So I think in this aspect, I really do think that it's a one in a lifetime opportunity, depending on where you're from, of course. And then as a master's student, if you want to get a master's degree in the United States, there are a lot of research opportunities, fellowships, and assistantships. And I had talked about this can also apply to science-related fields as well. So if you want to study something related to science, definitely then I think it's also a really great opportunity for research. Okay. Sorry, I think I'm speaking a little fast. I'll go a bit slower. So now I want to talk about the University of the People. The University of the People is different from a traditional university, of course. So there's not a physical campus where you can go and have classes. Nowadays, all of this that I was mentioning before is actually happening online anyways, right? So this beautiful campus that I showed here, which is Florida State University there in the middle, is partially closed, completely closed because of coronavirus, but also many universities, even before the pandemic, were already offering many online courses. So this is also changing in general. But the University of the People is completely 100% online. they do have offices in California, but you don't go to the office. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to share my personal opinion and my personal experience with studying at the University of the People. So the first question that many people ask me is tuition free. U.S. University, really? It sounds too good to be true. And it is, right? In a way, you want to research and know if it's real or not. So I study there, so I can tell you it is real. So as I mentioned before, the University of the People is an all online university, started with the mission of offering an affordable, high quality education to everyone in the world. So why is it tuition free? It is because it is a nonprofit university. They are not, well, actually most universities are actually, but this one is more specifically even more so. And that's their mission. They want as many people as possible to have access to a good, high quality university education and be able to pay for it. So how can they do this? The one thing is that the professors are volunteers. So they have excellent professors. They have professors from some of the best universities in the world, or in the world in general, but in the US, such as NYU in New York, Columbia, and Stanford. But they are volunteers. So normally they will teach maybe one class a semester or something like this. The other thing that they do to lower the cost is to use open source materials. So everything is free access. They use Canvas, Moodle, open source textbooks. You will never have to buy any materials, which is a huge saver of money as well. And it is accredited. It is accredited by the Distance Education Council. It's the DEAC. And you can research more about it. And an interesting fact is that Bill Gates, in his foundation, he has a foundation, actually helps the University of the People with funding to be able to get this accreditation. So the programs that they have, it is limited, and they want to focus on programs that will be more useful in different countries around the world, trying to focus more on developing countries. So they have computer science, public health, and business. These are the three programs that they have. They have 2-year and 4-year programs. And then they have one master's degree in education. And they have a partnership with the International Baccalaureate, which is IB. So if you know, IB schools are excellent schools all over the world. You can do an internship as part of your master's degree. It takes 2 to 4 years to complete, but of course, you can go very slowly. So if you feel, oh, this year I can only do 2 courses, 3, you can go very slowly. And going back to tuition free. So yes, it is tuition free, but it is not free. You do need to pay fees. So in normally universities, you pay tuition and you pay fees. In this case, you need to pay for every class that you take. So it's $120 per class for each bachelor's degree course, and $240 per class for each master's degree course. And this is updated because unfortunately the prices did increase this year. So my experience so far, I can say the courses are excellent. They are high quality, they're standardized. They follow the traditional US system. There's a lot of peer collaboration. We have to participate in forums. We need to peer review everyone's work. Every week you have to peer review someone's assignment. And we have projects as well. Especially in the master's degree, you do group projects with people all over the world. So it's very interesting with the time zones and finding a time. But it is rigorous. Okay, I have found that it is a lot of work. I find the courses more demanding than when I studied in an in-person university. So this is something you need to think about and consider. And you really do need, they tell you, but believe it, you need at least 10 to 15 hours a week to dedicate to each course, maybe more. And there is lots of support from professors, from advisors. If you ever have a problem, you write them, they answer immediately, and they're always trying to help. And finally, I want to say I do recommend the University of the People, but not for everyone. So who do I recommend it for? I recommend it for students that already have a high level of English, especially written English, because unfortunately, there are no English courses like what we call remedial English courses that can prepare you for the level. You already need to have this level. If not, it's going to be very difficult, in my opinion, to do all the writing assignments correctly. So this is, I think, something to take into account, or study English before starting the university. I think it's great for people that need to work. So if you have to work, you find it impossible to study in a university either in your country or in the US or anywhere, I think it's a very good option. People with children as well. Anyone that wants a US degree, if you want a US degree, for a fraction of the price, right? Because a traditional degree will usually be at least maybe 4 times or more than this. And anyone interested in a second degree, as I mentioned, I am doing my second degree. I think it's great for this, and you can transfer many courses. So I, for example, will not repeat many of the general courses that I did, like English, composition, math, intro to psychology. You can transfer credits, and you just need to pay a transfer fee for these courses. And they do evaluate credits from foreign universities. So it doesn't matter where you studied, they will still look at it and evaluate if they can transfer. So that is all I had, and I hope it was clear. And are there any questions that I can answer now?
Thank you, Isabel. That was very enlightening. I will tell you some questions that we had. We have quite a few questions. So we have a question from Miss Moon, who's asking, how many years does it take to achieve degrees in many years? So I think it means like doing many majors. And she was asking if you were volunteering and studying at the same time, and have you started your major right away in your undergraduate, or did you try different ones?
Wow, there's a lot of questions at once. The volunteering and studying at the same time, yes, I always volunteered, worked, and studied at the same time. But I could, right? But if I were studying maybe medicine, probably I would not have been able to.
Yeah, so it does depend on the major and how demanding the school is. Absolutely. And yeah, so how many years does it take to do many majors if one were to choose many majors at the same
Many
time?
majors.
Yeah, like if they do a double major, is it the same as like a normal just one major thing?
In a regular university or at the University of the People?
Yeah, in a regular university.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the last part.
So yeah, in a regular university, for instance.
Double majors usually take 5 years or 6 years, depending on the program and depending on how similar the double majors is. If you do 2 completely different majors, then it might take longer, but usually 5 to 6 years to do a double major. And some are already like this, like they have some that are already mixed together that you can do normally in 5 years.
Wow, great. And for the University of the People, are SATs required?
No, they don't ask for SATs, ACTs, any standardized test. They ask for proof of English proficiency. So either if you are from an English-speaking country or studied in a U.S. university or other university in a U.S.-speaking country, or then they have like a list of tests that you can take. And if I remember correctly, it included the Lingua House. I know, no, not Lingua House. What is the name? Duolingo.
Duolingo, yeah.
Duolingo. I know Duolingo is now offering that option, which is much more affordable.
Yeah. And what about application fees? Are there application fees for the University of the People?
Yes, that is the one thing that is mandatory, probably because if not, they would get too many applications. And so it's a $60 application fee. And actually something very important that I didn't mention was the scholarships. They offer scholarships. So if you are afraid that you can't pay for all the fees, definitely try and see if you can get a scholarship.
Great, that's awesome. We have another question: if the certificates or the degrees that you obtain from the University of the People are recognized in the US and abroad?
Yes, they are recognized in the United States. It's actually, there are many Americans that study at University of the People, and if you go into the website, you can see many real examples of people that have studied there, gotten their degrees, and have gotten better jobs. So Yes.
Great, awesome. That is really interesting. I think it's very different than anything we have presented before. So I think it's and you said, and I love the fact that you said that this is for a specific type of people who are who are working or maybe busy. So this can be a good option for them. And thank you so much, Isabel, for joining us today, and thank you everyone for joining. If anyone wants to apply for the University of the People, or if they want to start applications in the US, then definitely book an appointment on our page, Education USA Algeria, so we can discuss your options and see what's out there for you. Isabel, do you have any last words, any advice that you give our students who are watching today?
Oh, wow. Yeah, like I said, definitely see what is best for you. I think if you are a teenager or a very young adult, I wouldn't want you to miss out on the maybe more traditional US or any university experience where you have classmates and you participate in clubs. But if you think that it's a great fit for you, then definitely look into it. There's a lot of support. They offer a lot of support. They answer your questions really quickly. And if you are interested in studying in the United States, not the University of the People, any other US university, start early. As the earlier the better. If you can start even 2 years before researching and everything, it'll help a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Isabel. Thank you everyone for watching. Yeah, I hope that we don't, just follow us, and I hope that you'll be with us for the next talks. And goodbye.
Thanks, Subida. Bye, everyone.